Next in our lineup of experts this week is Patti Pokorchak, founder Small Biz Sales Coach. A serial entrepreneur since 1992, she helped co-found and run a software business, now in its 30th year, before opening up her own hobby farm and garden center, making it a thriving destination. Patty is the author of The Accidental Farmer Adventures of a Serial Entrepreneur. And if she can be a farmer, she believes you can be anything you want to be, as long as you know how to sell and market, that is. I had this great conversation with Patty, which I can't wait to share. Over to Patty. Patty, welcome to the 5% Conundrum as a part of the Extraordinary Outcomes show. I'm really delighted to have you here. I'm good we could manage the time, between multiple mails and so on. And before I get to the question, why don't you tell a bit about you and your background and your great experience in sales?
Patti Pokorchak, small biz sales coach out of Toronto, Canada. I do have clients around the world because Zoom makes that possible, or Skype. I was actually a tech pioneer. I was the shyest, most insecure geek you've ever seen. But IBM hired me after my MBA in marketing. IBM hired me, forced me to learn how to sell. I made a lot of money at a very young age, and that allowed me to quit IBM and start traveling the world. I ended up in Europe for 9 years, and because of my IBM background in tech, that was the beginning of the PC era, I was hired to be sales. And that once I learned how to make sales my own instead of that cookie cutter approach, started treating people as people. And because I was an introvert, my secret sauce is to be curious and caring. And that's not quite rocket science, is it? And introverts, they like to ask questions. They actually listen to the answers and then say as little as possible. And that has been my secret to success. I am insanely curious about people. We're going to be talking about that 5% conversion rate, which is abysmal. And it's all about the quality of questions you ask up front. It really is. One thing I've learned is you probably can't ask too many questions at the beginning of your conversation. I find what I call a lot of sales professionals, they do premature closing. They sort of see an opportunity, they go, okay, let's go for that. And it's just like, no. Patience, keep uncovering. Because that might be just a tiny little pebble in the shoe, but there's an elephant in the room that you're missing. And that's the real payback. And that's where the real conversion comes,
Right. So let me start with it. I mean, you have picked up on the topic. So the first question is, let's validate this assumption a bit from you. And for the numerous businesses that you work for, would you agree that today the lead to conversion is around that 5% or below, or slightly, but it's a low single digit. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. For sales professionals, definitely. It was a little different when it's a solopreneur, when they convert higher, but they're literally waiting for the phone to ring, and it doesn't ring very often. So the conversion is higher, but it only rings once a month or so. And they can't do that. So
that's a very important point, because in that scenario, what I believe is there is a ready customer who doesn't need convincing. He has found the person. He just needs that service. It's like, I have a flat tire. I need somebody to fix my tire. So it doesn't take a rocket science. The first guy comes around and says, I can do it. He will get the job, right? But not in a scenario where it's a new solution or a new technology or new source materials and so on, where multiple peoples are involved most of the time. Most of us are in commodity business, right? We are selling the same thing. If you have a unique thing, I sell moon dust, maybe you can do whatever you want and people will come to your doorstep, right? So now that you say that number is correct, how do we fix this?
Training. First of all, the majority of sales professionals don't have a lot of training. They're given like a 1-day product focus. They're actually not given a lot of sales training. One of my life legacies is to make sales a respected profession. I now teach at my alma mater, which is in the business school at Ryerson University, but it's only the entrepreneurship faculty. Marketing still hold their nose and go, oh, please, please. We do a theory course on effective persuasion. That's all we need to do. They don't actually teach marketers how to sell. And because I say learning how to sell is not a spectator sport. So I've refused to be on a panel to spout out what a great salesperson I am, because you don't learn anything from that. You salesperson there, you actually got to say the words. You have to stumble over it. So role playing is huge. I find the role of sales coaching. So we've moved away from the managerial of you have to go out and sell. Here's your quota, bang, 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 lots of pressure. To how can I help you get your quota in a way that's not pressured? Because I actually have a sign right over here. It says relax, okay? Because I need to be relaxed, right? So if I'm under pressure, I am going to really just go for the, I don't know, I hate the violence, but go for the kill, right? I'm gonna, oh my God, here's a live prospect. I got to close you. And it just creates unnecessary tension. So one of the things I teach is even as a, insecure, nervous sales pro what I was 40 years ago, is I needed to relax, because I got to make, you're more afraid of me than I am of you. Okay. So I got to make sure you're relaxed and comfortable with me. Remember, some things haven't changed. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you got to know me. You got to like me. You got to trust me, because you're not going to buy until you trust me. So that's why we have to establish, I call it your BBF, your best business friend. And when I approached you as in that relaxed tone, if you were my newest friend I met at a party, I'd be curious. I'd be asking you questions. And I like to treat my clients as not my best friends, but my best business friends, where it's relaxed. I can come in, I can ask, so what'd you do on the weekend? How's your wife? How's the kids? Like the really care about people, not just business.
Right. So let's dwell a little bit about the trust bit, right? End of the day, in this global scenario where you are literally meeting me, I'm literally on the other side of the world, right? And many a times you'll have a customer who is on the other side of the world or very far off, and you're extremely unlikely to meet with that person. How do you build the trust?
Well, that's where social media comes in, and again, it's a long game. Getting social proof, which is your LinkedIn online resume, is having current recommendations from past clients, past colleagues, past bosses. I get very suspicious people that have 15,000 followers, and their last recommendation is 10 years old. It's like. I'm not from Missouri, but I am skeptical. So I look for the red flags where something's out of sync. If you haven't got the 99 plus endorsements for your key skill, I go, it just, I was a headhunter, an executive search partner. So I was trained how to look at profiles. So social proof is important. Your website, obviously, seeing that you're a content provider, like, both of us are on the Sales Expert channel. And I told Deb, I was honored to be chased and asked, and it was just like she just caught me at a really, I was just so busy and tired from working 7 days a week for six months. It's like, and then I finally went, this makes sense. I'm honored. I'm honored to be considered that, and because I've only been in this brand for seven years, but to be acknowledged as a sales expert is like, now I teach it as a professor. It gives that. Who would have thought, I get paid to go back to school, my alma mater, but it gives you that certain bit of respectability that, a university trusts me now to teach sales.
Sure.
And go to rate my professor, see my reviews, it's like, again, Google reviews are everything,
Right. So let's focus on your focus area, that is small business. What do you see are the problems besides this as a business? I mean, so your current answer to my previous question was about the salesperson per se, but the leadership is sitting and leadership is running the business. So what is your analysis of why small businesses are converting so less, and what can they do better?
One thing hasn't changed is a lot of sales professionals are still really feature oriented. They go, hey, we built the better mousetrap, come and get it. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. It's
Hmm.
they don't know their industry, they don't know their competition, they don't know the benefits, they don't have the stories to tell about who they've helped. People buy value, the results and outcomes, and they don't know that. And it's really hard to get through that. You don't need to know that you have so much horsepower, so much torque, so much megahertz or whatever. Nobody cares. Will it go faster? Can you help me do my job faster and better? I want to know that. And tell me somebody else. Tell me a story, because stories sell. So I want to know. I mean, I spent 10 years, selling barcode systems, which you think, oh my God, poke my eyes out, but we branded it. I came up with an off the shelf program called Barcode Facets
Hmm.
for barcode asset tracking, branded it really well. We even had a birthday party for this imaginary dog. We sold millions around the world, 25 countries, made barcodes acceptable, approachable, I guess, is that you can, if I can make selling barcodes interesting and tell the stories about it, then you can make anything interesting. You just have to know, if you're selling HVAC, right? Ventilation systems, you can tell stories about the disasters and how you help somebody out of a disaster. You tell the heroic journey. So you just need to really be passionately in love with what you do. Don't do it for the money, for sure. You know, and be all encompassing. That was, because I was shy and I didn't like to talk, but I knew my stuff. I knew everything about it. When I became a farmer, for example, I knew nothing about farming. I was a beginner gardener. And for 2 years, all I did was read gardening books and talk, or not talk. I asked questions of my customers. So where are you going to plant that one? How does that one grow? And just being curious again. And sure enough, I became an expert gardener. So it's all
Interesting.
about, yeah, it's all about really loving the industry you're in, understanding it, and know that the more you know, the better, the more you will sell. Because if you can start telling stories about the industry, and I know your pain, I know that, and all of a sudden the trusted advisor, that's where you want to get at, you know?
So Patty, if you look at again from your experience of the last 7 years of being directly hands-on in sales training and so on, what are the biggest problems that small businesses have today in terms of revenue? In terms of revenue.
It's adapting to a moving target too. Is the last year has been. I mean, this time last year is like 6 weeks of inertia. It's like, oh my God, we're staying at home. This has never happened before, and sort of everything kind of shut down because we were in a
Sure.
state of shock. So it's being able to pivot and see what's your next opportunity. When I had the barcode companies, we were in a government town, Ottawa, Canada's capital. There's two industries, government and tech. And when tech was high, we sold to them. When government was laying off, we went to tech. When government was booming, we went there. So it was a balance. You always have to be. You cannot rely on just one market. I call it the marketing F word. You got to focus, right? So instead of the shotgun, is pick initially, like, pick a target, pick a couple, and then figure out where do you have fun dealing with, where do you add the most value, and then have more of those. I call it the domino effect. Is once I realized where I could sell my products, the right industry, the right job title, it was dominoes. I
Right.
call it the one called close. Because once you know your value, and if you don't want to deal with me, not my problem. It's your loss. And it's my inside voice. you know, is yeah.
Great. So the final question is, how do you see the end customer, which is the customer of your customers, how do you see them evolving over the last, say, 7, 8 years? How have they changed?
Oh, it's like we've changed it from having like a sales funnel. I mean, you still need your sales process, but you have to adapt to their buying journey. Okay, they are way more educated. They've already done their research. If they're reaching out to you, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of blowing it, or 50%. Like it's 50-50. They've chosen a short list. It's up to you to show your differentiation, your value. It's up for you to lose. Like
Right.
the conversion rate should be really above 50%, if not more, because it's up to you to show your value, ask the right questions. Where are you in the buying journey? What's your key priorities in this, making this decision? Who else is in it? Is asking the better questions, the deeper questions,
Right.
which shows you know your industry, you know your products, you know the buying journey of where it goes. Who else is impacting this journey? Who do I need to present to? Who do I need to impress?
So
And
would you have
convince.
any, yeah, sure. So would you have any story of a customer's customer, how you helped one of your small businesses actually nail this and convert a difficult scenario?
Yeah. I remember this is one of my favorite stories too. Is I took on a couple. They were just a small business, and they'd invested like a lot of money into different sales experts, people that I know and revere. And then they got me, and I have a bit of a twist. And they had worked on a client, and it was a VP level, and he moved and became a president at another company, and they went, well, there goes our opportunity. And it's just like, no, 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 no. Now you got two opportunities. You're now talking to the president who loved you. He's one opportunity. And of course he's been replaced. So you still have that opportunity. It's your chance to get in and say, hey, we've been working on this. Why don't you take on this project? So they all of a sudden they had two hot leads, and they actually closed 3 deals, what they thought were stalled deals, by picking up the pieces. I always say, especially entrepreneurs, they fall down in the follow up, and most salespeople do as well. Is they feel like they're being pushy or intrusive, and it's just like, no, they're ghosting you. It's just now's not the right time. So never give up. Just elongate your follow up. So if you do it every week, then do it every 2 weeks, then every month. Just stay in front, but always add value to that person. Oh, by the way, we just did this solution for this company that's like you. Want to talk about it? If not, okay, well, try again next week or next month about here's another story. I just noticed your company did this, the trigger event. Stay in front, stay top of mind, and eventually they'll go 6 months later, okay, I'm ready to talk. So I guess what I'm saying is don't give up too early.
Right.
Is just maybe you don't, like I said, last year we went into the lockdown and everything just froze. And I had a client who froze and said, no, we can't go out and prospect. I said, yes, you can. Life goes on, life goes
Wonderful.
on. Yeah. So persistence is a wonderful thing. And I always had that trait, persistent Patty. It's just ask, like Columbo, the old, the detective. One last question. Oh, by the way, no no for now. When might the no turn to a maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
Use,
If
use
you
a bit
didn't
of
ask,
time.
you don't know. If you didn't ask, you don't know.
That's right, exactly. It's about asking and just going. Don't maybe kill the sales process. Is that you pin your hopes on? Just I always say I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. If it's never going to be, let me know and I won't bug you.
Wonderful. Pattis, thank you so much. This was great chatting with you today. And I hope that you had fun. And
Yes.
we should stay in touch. Anyway, we are part of the Sales Experts channel. Whenever you're ready to launch, let me know. I'll do a shout out to my
Oh,
audience, and and I would love to stay in touch with you and
yes.
talk more.
Yes, for sure. That's great. Good luck with your channel, and thank you for a delightful interview. So, I love talking sales, right? Because it's a never ending topic. So good luck
Absolutely.
to everyone there. Okay. Thank
Thank you.
you.